We are hearing SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. We heard before Kapil Bhagavan is telling to Mother Devahuti, only by devotion one can be rescued from Maya and can attain ultimate goal of life, eternal service of Krishna. So how he should practice? For his income, a devotee should be satisfied with what he earns without great difficulty. He should not eat more than what is necessary. He should live in a secluded place and always be thoughtful, peaceful, friendly, compassionate, and self-realized. So in the commentary which we were reading, last point was, a very poor man can execute Krishna consciousness as effectively as a very rich man. One should therefore be very satisfied with his position as offered by the Lord, especially in this Kali Yuga, because the process was made so easy. Only you have to chant Harinam for Krishna satisfaction. So you don't need anything. In any condition, in any place, any time, you can do. And we can awaken Krishna Prem. Another word here is mita bhuk. This means that one should eat only as much as necessary to maintain the body and soul together. One should not be gluttonous to satisfy the tongue. Grains, fruits, milk, and similar foods are allotted for human consumption. One should not be excessively eager to satisfy the tongue and eat that which is not meant for humanity. Particularly, a devotee should eat only prasad, or food which is offered to the personality of Godhead. His position is to accept the remnants of those foodstuffs. Innocent foods like grains, vegetables, fruits, flowers, and milk preparations are offered to the Lord, and therefore there is no scope for offering foods which are in the modes of passion and ignorance. A devotee should not be greedy. How much is necessary for your livelihood so that you can serve Krishna? It is also recommended that the devotee should be muni, or thoughtful. He should always think of Krishna and how to render better service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That should be his only anxiety or thinking or worry, how I should serve Krishna. As a materialist is always thoughtful about improving his material condition, a devotee's thoughts should always be engaged in improving his condition in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, he should be a muni. Our Gurudev said there was one Gokul Das Babaji Maharaj. He also had darshan of Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj, but later he became disciple of Prabhupada and was staying in Chaitanya Math, and he was Babaji and Paramahansa stage, so he was always chanting Harinam all the time. And Gurudev saw when he was lying on the bed, he was chanting, and there were many those bugs, and they were sucking his blood, but he did not mind. He was absorbed in chanting Harinam. He did not mind because he was on Paramahansa stage. So Gurudev said, what is Babaji Maharaj thinking? He's thinking about how to serve Krishna. And what the bugs are thinking, how to suck his blood. So although they are physically very near to sadhu, but that is not sadhu sangha, because they are not associating with sadhus, they are not following the mentality of a sadhu. They're not in connection with sadhu or in favor of sadhu. Their target is only to suck his blood. So that is not sadhu sangha, though physically very close. But someone may stay at a very long physical distance from a sadhu, but if he's following the thought of that sadhu, sadhu is thinking of service of Krishna, and this devotee is also following that thought, that mentality, then he is associating with that sadhu. That will be sadhu sangha, although not physically close. Like yesterday we heard that Kurma Vipra, he said to Mahaprabhu, I want to go with you because here in house I am in sense enjoyment. You will rescue me and take me with you. Mahaprabhu said, no, you don't leave your house. In your house, you always chant Harinam. In that way, you will not be engaged in sense gratification, and also you should preach. You should encourage others and become guru. You should initiate them in Harinam. In this way, you will be rescued. And again, you will get my association here in this very place. When Mahaprabhu toured whole South India and little West India also, when he was going back, again he came to that Kurma Vipra's house. So we have to follow the instruction of sadhu and the mentality of sadhu. That is proper thinking. Also, Ambarish Maharaj, he taught about the lotus feet of Krishna, and Prahlad Maharaj, always Smaranam. And Haridas Thakur also, he was chanting Harinam, and automatically remembrance of Radha Krishna is coming in his pure heart. The next item recommended is that a devotee should live in a secluded place. Generally, a common man is interested in pounds, shillings, and pence, means money, or materialistic advancement in life, which is unnecessary for a devotee. A devotee should select a place of residence where everyone is interested in devotional service. Generally, therefore, a devotee goes to a sacred place of pilgrimage where devotees live. It is recommended that he live in a place where there is no large number of ordinary men. It is very important to live in a secluded place, Vivikta Sharan. So, secluded place, sometimes it is said, it is better to go to forest. You will find many examples in Shastra. They came to such conclusion. It is better to go to forest than to stay with materialistic persons. But secluded place also means you should not be with materialists, but you should be with devotees. That is best. And unitedly they are serving Krishna. So either in Dham, where devotees are, or in Mat temple, where devotees are, or in house, where family members, they are devotees and they are engaged in the service of Krishna. All this is a place for devotee to stay, and simple living, not very luxurious and opulent and all this, but simple living, high thinking. High thinking means service of Krishna. But we should not go to a secluded place, like totally without anyone, like in some dham or some forest or like this, without permission of bona fide guru, because he will see whether you are qualified or not. Because even if you go there, your mind will go with you, and so many bad thoughts are in your mind, and you will associate with those thoughts because of previous impressions. Such thoughts are there. So if you are in a secluded place, you will be influenced. and you may fall down, and there is no one there to rectify you, to see you, to encourage you. So it is better to stay with devotees. They will help us. Only, Gurudev told, only for advanced devotees, those in whose heart, by chanting Harinam, automatically all Lila is appearing, not other thoughts, but Lila. Then he can stay in a secluded place in Dham, and he will meditate, and he will always be with Radharani, Krishna, Gopis. He will not be alone. Outside we see he's alone, but he's never alone. He's with them, serving. So only in that case he can stay in lonely place, but not for all. For ordinary sadhakas, association of sadhu sangha is recommended. Association with sadhus, that is sadhu sangha. The next item is shanta, or peacefulness. The devotee should not be agitated. He should be satisfied with his natural income, eat only as much as he needs to keep his health, live in a secluded place, and always remain peaceful. Peace of mind is necessary for prosecuting Krishna consciousness. Peace of mind one can have where there are no other desires. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama, Otoev Shanta. He has no selfish, lusty desires. That is why he can be peaceful. Otherwise, always eager to get those desires fulfilled, and when there is some obstacle in fulfilling, then he will become angry, so always disturbed. And also peaceful one can be when one can see the mercy of Krishna in all circumstances. Nothing can happen without the will of Krishna, and he is all good. I am reaping the fruits of my own actions, they are for my rectification. So such devotee can also be calm and serene, peaceful in all circumstances, like Prahlad Maharaj. So the more we can advance in purity of heart and in this pure vision, the more one can be peaceful, and with peaceful mind one can worship. Krishna also says in Gita, without peace, where is the question of happiness? Impossible. The next item is maitra, or friendliness. A devotee should be friendly to everyone, but his intimate friendship should be with devotees only. With others he should be official. He may say, yes, sir, what you say is all right, but he is not intimate with them. He will not see anyone as enemy in the bodily platform, this country, that country, friend, enemy. He will see all jivas as related to Krishna, so no one enemy. But he will also see, though they are eternal servants of Krishna, but they want this enjoyment. So he will give due respect, official due respect and polite everything, but he will not associate with them intimately with loving exchange. Those 6, giving and accepting gifts, speaking heart, and exchanging food. He will not do with them, but with devotees only. Then he can increase in devotion. But that does not mean that he will criticize others, disrespect, or be violent to them. No. Friendly. And he will, and then further he says, a devotee should, however, have compassion for persons who are innocent, who are neither atheistic nor very much advanced in spiritual realization. A devotee should be compassionate towards them and instruct them as far as possible in making advancement in Krishna consciousness. Those who are fully atheistic and they are always arguing, he will avoid them because waste of time. He has no sukriti, so he cannot accept, so why waste time in arguing? But he will also not stay alone, but he will help those who are innocent, not atheistic, but they don't have much knowledge about spiritual matters, so he will try to help them. Like our Brihad Bharati Maharaj, if you come to him with some spiritual questions, sincerely for advancement in your spiritual practice, not for the sake of curiosity or argument or trying to increase your knowledge for name and fame, but if sincerely for your bhajan, then he will always help you with his vast knowledge and experience, and that will be helpful. But if there is someone who is not interested, then he will not give any time, because waste of time. And this will, because this is one kind of service to Krishna, to help such innocent souls or sadhakas to advance in devotion to Krishna. If you help them, Krishna will be very happy. It is a kind of service to Krishna. A devotee should always remain Atmavan, or situated in his spiritual position. He should not forget that his main concern is to make advancement in spiritual consciousness or Krishna consciousness, and he should not ignorantly identify himself with the body or the mind. Atma means the body or the mind, but here the word Atmavan especially means that one should be self-possessed. He should have self in his possession. Self means real self. He should always remain in the pure consciousness that he is spirit soul and not the material body or the mind. That will make him progress confidently in Krishna consciousness. Atma has many meanings, as we also know from that chapter in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Mahaprabhu is explaining Atma Ramaschamunaya verse to Sanatana Goswami. Atma has many meanings, so also can mean body, mind, like this. Atma can mean self, so someone thinking self is the body, so many things. Also in Gita you will find Atma can be friend, Atma can be enemy, but there Atma refers to mind. So you have to understand which, from the context and what is meant either by Shastra or by Guru, by submissively hearing. Then you can catch what they mean, because Atma in Upanishad can also mean Supreme Lord. Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyo. No one can attain Atma, here meaning Supreme Lord, with giving lectures. And Atma Evopasito. This is in Upanishad, you will find. Only Eva, or certainly, Eva means only. You should worship Atma. Atma Eva Upasita. Eva Upasita. You should worship Atma, means Supreme Lord. Very short saying, but everything is said. And Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, our Gurudev used to repeat this verse. Atmava are drashtabhyo, mantabhyo, shrotabhyo, nididhyasitabhyo. Atma are drashtabhyo, shrotabhyo, mantabhyo, nididhyasitabhyo. Yes, like this. Atma means Supreme Lord, should be seen. Drashtabhyo is your duty. This is object to be seen. Drashtabhyo Shrotabhyo, you should hear about him. Mantabhyo, you should think about him or consider about him. And Nididhyasitabhyo, you should deeply meditate on him. So here Atmavan means one who is in possession of Atma, means he has realization. I am Jivatma, spirit soul, eternal servant of Krishna. This is Sambandha Gyan. First Sambandha Gyan, then if one has this knowledge, then he will progress confidently in Krishna. That is why Mahaprabhu first said, Jibar Sarup Hai Krishna Irtadas. First, you should understand this. You are eternal servant of Krishna. By forgetting him, you are suffering. By remembering him, you will get bliss. Sanu bande chadehesmin akurvan asad agraham Gyanena drishta tatvena prakrite purushasya cha. One's seeing power should be increased through knowledge of spirit and matter, and one should not unnecessarily identify himself with the body and thus become attracted by bodily relationships. The conditioned souls are eager to identify with the body and consider that the body is myself, and that anything in relationship with the body or possessions of the body is mine. In Sanskrit, this is called aham mamata, I and mine. And it is the root cause of all conditional life. A person should see things as the combination of matter and spirit. He should distinguish between the nature of matter and the nature of spirit. And his real identification should be with spirit, not with matter. By this knowledge, one should avoid the false bodily concept of life. Someone will say, you are very ugly. Then I will feel disturbed. Why? Because I identify myself with the body. But if I know I am Atma, then there is no problem with this. So we have to identify with Atma and be concerned with the welfare of the Atma, not of the body for the sake of sense enjoyment, but how much is necessary for the service of Krishna, that much should take care and also use in the service of Krishna, not neglect, but it is meant for the service of Krishna, then it is okay. But for some personal name and fame or some worldly sense enjoyment, all this, then that will divert our mind from Krishna consciousness. And we will be loser. Maybe we can gain some material things, fame and money and all this, but ultimately we are a loser of Krishna consciousness. Like we heard about Sridhar Pandit. He was very poor, but he was always happy because he engaged in the service of Krishna. Even Mahaprabhu offered him anything, but he said, no, I don't want. I only want your service. And there are other examples also. So this is Nadhanam. But this is possible when you have, our Gurudev used to say, everything depends on the determination of the self. If you think I'm body, then bodily requirement is my requirement, and what is good for body is good, what is not good is bad for me. then you will always try only for material development. If you think I'm mind, then you will develop mentally, you will think this is real development. Intellect also, intellectual development. But if you can realize that you are spirit soul, eternal servant of Krishna, then naturally you will try for spiritual development. It depends with what you identify. Then according to that you will think what is good and what is bad. Good for the soul is service of Krishna. Bad for the soul is to be averse to Krishna. It has nothing to do with bodily good and bodily bad. So by this knowledge, one should avoid the false bodily concept of life. Nivrita buddhyavastano duri bhutanya darshana upalabhyatma natmanam chakshu shivarkam atmadrik. One should be situated in the transcendental position beyond the stages of material consciousness. One should be aloof from all other conceptions of life, thus realizing freedom from false ego. One should see his own self just as he sees the sun in the sky, directly, very clearly. In commentary, consciousness acts in 3 stages under the material conception of life. When we are awake, consciousness acts in a particular way. When we are asleep, it acts in a different way. And when we are in deep sleep, consciousness acts in still another way. To become Krishna conscious, one has to become transcendental to these 3 stages of consciousness. Our present consciousness should be freed from all perceptions of life other than consciousness of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is called Duri Bhutanya Darshana, which means that when one attains perfect Krishna consciousness, he does not see anything but Krishna, because only Krishna exists. He and his energies, everything is he only. When one can see like this and he knows that Krishna is all good, then he can always be balanced. Otherwise we are unbalanced. But you need to practice to get such a realization. It is not so easy. You cannot imagine that. You can imagine, but some event will come which will make you unbalanced. You have to get that vision through realization. That is by Krishna's mercy to those who will submit to him unconditionally. So now we are awake, and then when dreaming, that is one stage, and deep sleep where no awareness, even not of dreams, that is deep sleep. And now we are awake. But if someone does spiritual practice, then he will also feel being awakened from this wakeful state. This wakeful state is also one kind of sleeping, because you are not realizing who you are and how everything is Krishna only. So you have to be awakened by awakened soul, or enlightened by the help of enlightened soul. Then you can see, and then you can have result of spiritual realization, which is complete cessation of unhappiness, suffering, and getting absolute bliss. If we come in contact with someone who is tasting such nectar, then we become inspired to also work for it. Then we'll practice. But if we lose such association, and we are not also reading Shastra, then gradually we become disinterested in practice, because we are not tasting, and we're disinterested. We want to enjoy this material world, but that will give us suffering ultimately. So because we are not aware and weak, and no sadhu sangha and no shastra sangha, then we may lose practice, but that is unfortunate. So always we should keep association with sadhu and shastra. Sadhu, realized soul, is better, more powerful, but if that is not available, then at least we should always have shastra sangha, association with shastra. That will also encourage us to practice. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that the perfect devotee may see many movable and immovable objects, but in everything he sees the energy of Krishna is acting. As soon as he remembers the energy of Krishna, he immediately remembers Krishna in his personal form. Therefore, in all his observations, he sees Krishna only. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that when one's eyes are smeared with love of Krishna, premanjana churita, bhakti vilochanena, he always sees Krishna outside and inside. This is confirmed here. One should be freed from all other vision, and in that way he is freed from the false egoistic identification and sees himself as the eternal servitor of the Lord. Chakshu Shevarkam. As we can see the sun without a doubt, one who is fully developed in Krishna consciousness sees Krishna and his energy. By this vision, one becomes Atmadrik, or self-realized. Because when you see Krishna, you also see yourself as you really are, your real self, because you are also related to Krishna. Like we cannot see our face without the help of mirror, but if we take the mirror, then we can see our face. Like that, with the help of Krishna, his revelation, automatically we see ourselves also. We realize who you are and who all others are, or what is matter. Everything in relation to Krishna, everything is Krishna only. And my duty is to serve him. That eternal function of the soul you can realize. Then you are self-realized, Atmadrik. Our Vishnu Maharaj used to repeat now in many places this saying of our Gurudev. I also heard directly from Gurudev many times that we conditioned souls, we pass through so many lives in different species, and we were only engaged in sense enjoyment. So that habit, that tendency is there within us. But when we get this human birth, humans, they have animality, but also rationality. They have discriminating power between good and bad, eternal and non-eternal, and it is meant for attaining the service of Krishna, human birth. Though we may come to such knowledge and conclusion, when we try to practice worship of Krishna, then we will experience different waves. Sometimes we will be inspired. Yes, this world is non-eternal. I am eternal servant of Krishna, I should serve him. So when such inspiration is there, you should do bhajan as much as possible, because it will not last long. The wave of bad thoughts will come. The thoughts of enjoying this world. At that time, we should try to control that and should do bhajan as much as possible. Our Vishnu Maharaj also told, you should forcefully do bhajan, whether you like it or not, but forcefully you should take sadhu sangha, read shastra, chant forcefully. And if you do like this, our Gurudev said, then next time this bad wave will come with less force, and our Vishnu Maharaj told less time it will stay, less time. And if we do bhajan in good wave, then next time when good wave will come, it will be longer period and also more powerful, our Gurudev said, forceful. So in this way, if we try to practice like this, Gurudev said, even when you are in bad wave, you try to practice, and even sometimes you may fail, you will do that sense gratification, but because you gave effort for the service of Krishna and you tried to control but you failed, still that effort did not go in vain, was not lost. Krishna knows everything, he saw that how much you tried. So even though you fail to completely control, but when next time bad wave will come, it will be less forceful because you gave effort. So in this way, our good thoughts should increase and bad thoughts should decrease. And then first you will come to such a stage where the good thoughts will be half-half with bad thoughts. When we start, they are not half-half. But by practice, we can first come to half-half. And then if good thoughts will further increase, then they will be predominant. Still, you are not fully free. That will come. Once Gurudev also told me in Mumbai, he said, when you are in beginning stage, Maya will attack. And mostly you will lose the fight. But when you become spiritually strong, then Maya will still attack. But you will be able to win over. So this will progress will go like this. And then when only good thoughts will be there, no bad thoughts, then you realize the soul. Only desire to do worship of Krishna is there permanently, all the time, then you realize the soul. So it takes time and it takes practice to come to that. Sometimes immature practitioners, when they are in good way, they will think, oh, I am pure devotee, I am all right, and they will preach very confidently and everything. Then the bad way will come because it is in the heart. You did not purify yet. Then they will be surprised. Others may also be surprised. Some may even become discouraged by thinking, oh, it is impossible. I have this in my heart. Like this. When you become more and more mature experience, then you can realize your actual position where you are, and you will also not be discouraged seeing some bad thoughts still in you. You will accept, but you will know there is no other way. I have to serve Krishna, then I can progress because there is no other way and there is no other thing worth trying for. So though, yes, I am fallen, I have this, but they will not give up bhajan. Because knowing that bhajan is the only way to clear that. So, Atmadrik, self-realized, this self-realization to be well established or permanently established in that realization is not so easy, but not impossible. We have to practice. And if we sincerely practice, then seeing our sincere effort, Krishna will help us and sadhus will help us, Shastra will help us to encourage us more and more. But if we give up effort, then we cannot get anywhere. And they will also not be helpful because we are not interested. Only when they are in preaching mood, they will try to pull us. You come. With the false ego of identifying the body with the self is removed, actual vision of life is perceivable. Actual vision of life. Now our vision is polluted. It is dirty. We cannot see things as they are. Even Buddhists, they say this. When you are in lust and attachment, then you cannot see things as they are. But if you do meditation and purification of heart, then you will see things as they are, that they are all temporary, all the time changing, fleeting, and miserable. If we are lusty, we think, yes, I will enjoy this for all time, and I will be happy. That is not actual vision. At least up to this point, they realize that everything is temporary in this world and it is miserable. So you should be detached. Then you will not suffer. But that is not full vision. Jnanis, they will also think this is all false. Attachment to this is not good. They will think Brahma is reality, only reality. That is only real thing. All this is false, illusion. I am Brahma. I have to merge into that Brahma. I am Brahma. That is also some sort of vision, but not complete vision. Devotee will realize actual life, that only Krishna is everything. He and his energies, I am also his energy, and I am to be engaged in his service, in his eternal lila. This world is Shrishti lila, meant for those jivas who are averse to Krishna to be punished. So he will be detached from this and will engage in the service of Krishna. Actual vision of life. The senses, therefore, also become purified. When they are engaged in the service of Krishna, Gurudev taught, when they are engaged in the service of Krishna, they are pure. Like prasad, when you offer to Krishna, it becomes purified. If it is engaged in the service of Krishna, it is pure and eternal, transcendental. When for sense enjoyment, then it becomes material. Real service of the Lord begins when the senses are purified. One does not have to stop the activities of the senses. The Buddhists and yogis, jnanis, they try to do this, but that is not proper procedure. One does not have to stop the activities of the senses, but the false ego of identifying with the body has to be removed. Then the senses automatically become purified, and with purified senses, one can actually discharge devotional service. So we are not rejecting the senses and sense activities, but properly utilizing for the service of Krishna. Then there is no problem and you will get bliss. Muktalingam sat abhasam asati pratipadyate sato bandhu asat chakshu sarvanu syutam advayam. A liberated soul realizes the absolute personality of Godhead who is transcendental and who is manifest as a reflection even in the false ego. He is support of the material cause and he enters into everything. He is absolute, one without a second, and he is the eyes of the illusory energy. Commentary. A pure devotee can see the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in everything materially manifested. He is present there only as a reflection, but a pure devotee can realize that in the darkness of material illusion, the only light is the Supreme Lord, who is its support. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that the background of the material manifestation is Lord Krishna. And as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, Krishna is the cause of all causes, so he is present everywhere. Devotees, they can see him in everything with proper vision, how he is there. But some false jnanis, they wrongly think. They say everything is God. So once one told me, so why we should not eat meat? Meat is also God. Everything is God. Then I told him, okay, yes, everything is God. So that sand or those stones on the beach, they're also God because everything is God. So why you don't want to eat those stones from the beach and sand? Then he came to his senses. That only for the sake of excuse, we say, yes, everything is God. That is not proper realized vision, how everything is God. And with sense gratification desires. If someone has sense gratification desires, or even if he has desire for liberation, he cannot see God. Impossible. Ata Shri Krishna Namadina Bhavid Grajyam Indriye. Sevan Mukha hi Jivado Swayam Asparta. Only one who is engaged in the service of Krishna under the guidance of pure devotee, he can see God by his grace. And then his vision will be proper and will not be misused. He will see Krishna and his energies and what is to be done, what is not to be done. So, how Krishna is everywhere. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the Supreme Lord, by his partial or plenary expansion, is present not only within this universe and each and every universe, but in every atom, although he is one without a second. You know, Mahavishnu, from him, from his pores when he exhales, innumerable material universes come out. That is first Purusha avatar. His avatar of Mahashankarshan of Vaikuntha, who is expansion of Baladev Prabhu in Dwaraka and Baladev in Vrindavan. All is Nityananda Tattva, Baladev Tattva. So first Purusha, Karanadakashaya Mahavishnu, he will manifest and he will see there, he will impart jivas, and in second Purusha, he will enter into all universes as Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. He will enter there and will monitor. Then third, Kirodakashaya, he will be individual for each universe and also in the heart of every living entity and also in every atom inside. Kirodakashaya Vishnu. So he's present, but in every atom. Although he is one without a second, he is not divided. Like in this world, if someone is here, he cannot be there. if he is here and there, it means he's divided. Some part is here, some part is there. But it is not so for Supreme Lord. He's not divided. The word Advayam, without a second. Advayam, there is no second one. Advaya. Ekam eva dvitiya. No second is there, only one. Everything is one is correct, but you have to have proper vision how everything is one. Like Ramanuja said, Vishishta Advaita, then Shuddha Advaita, Dvaita, Advaita, Chintya Beda, Beda, like this. It is oneness, but you have to understand how one. The word Advayam without a second, which is used in this verse, indicates that although the Supreme Personality of Godhead is represented in everything, including the atoms, he is not divided. His presence in everything is explained in the next verse. This we will hear tomorrow.